The Dungeons and Dragons cartoon was one of my favorites when I was younger. And at the time, we didn't get action figures. Then Hasbro announced they were going to give us action figures finally after 40 years. I got so excited. And then we get them, and they have so many issues. But at the same time, there are a few of these figures that don't. And I dare say this is the best figure of this entire line. This is, of course, Sheila, who is the thief. Now, there's a weird thing with this figure. The color of her outfit on the box is totally wrong. But the color of the figure is absolutely correct. She's got the pink dress and the purple cape, which is really close to what she wore in the cartoon. But here's the, as weird as cartoony, and, at the time I reviewed the first three, I had not seen Michael French's video on these figures. He called it Disney-fied, and that's accurate. That's very accurate. But of all the figures, Sheila's is the closest to being how she looked in the cartoon. She doesn't have as much, or maybe not as pronounced as Disneyfication as the other characters have. That is really freaking weird. Why did we not do that on Sheila and we did to all the other characters? Even the ones that look alright, like Bobby and Presto, have a little bit of it. But Sheila does not. I don't understand that to save my life. I really don't. Sheila has a removable hood and a swappable cape. Which the swappable cape looks like it's starting to phase, which is what Sheila would do. She would pull her hood up and then disappear. She was the thief. Which also gives her a D6, because guess what? In Dungeons & Dragons the game, D6s are your hit dice for your thieves. Hey, symmetry. If you notice, it's a reoccurring theme, except for Diana was the one that broke it because she had a D20, because Acrobat wasn't actually a class, it was a kit you could add on the fighter, and we already had a fighter. So, yeah. There we are with that. Anyway. Moving on. Of course, articulation is the same. It's that sort of Black Series articulation that we get with every figure from the Black Series, single joints. Except for Sheila's knees are double jointed. Why is Sheila's knees double jointed? I don't understand. I'm confused because almost every figure in this line has single jointed knees except for Sheila. Okay, weird. This line makes no sense. Okay, there's not consistency. What are you gonna say? And again, as I said, the weird part is this one is more accurate to the cartoon than any of the other figures in the line. It's like this was the one they actually worked on. The rest they just kind of phoned in. They were like, oh, but Sheila, we have to work on that one. I don't know if she was the first figure or what the deal was. It's just weird to me that they get this one pretty close to right, and they get all the other ones so wrong. I mean, I don't know. But it is infuriating when you're a fan of a franchise and they get some of it right and some of it so wrong. Which is pretty much Hasbro at this point. I mean, that's what they do. So now that I have all the heroes from Dungeons & Dragons, what do I think? Jeez. This line could have been one of Hasbro's biggest things ever. These are figures that were demanded for 40 years. Most everybody who remembers the original broadcasts of these cartoons are still alive. Most. A lot of people picked up on it later and realized what a cool cartoon it was. That's the thing. There is a broad fan base for this cartoon that is different than the game, that is different than everything else about Dungeons & Dragons. There are a lot of people who would never think about playing a Dungeons & Dragons game who absolutely love this cartoon. And if these had been hit right with a good price tag, better maybe slightly better articulation and better likenesses, this would have been a huge success for Hasbro. Rather than do the minimal effort to get a good across the board line that was limited, they were only going to be able to do these characters, and that's it. That's all they have. There wasn't a whole lot left to do, because once you do these characters, interest will drop off. You know that walking in, hit it out of the park right out of the gate, then you have something to work with. Unfortunately, they phoned a couple in because they knew everybody would want to grab the whole team, but at the same time, they released a bunch of phoned in ones, and people were turned off from the beginning. The QC issues turned everybody off. The price tag turned everybody off. The frustration of fans turned everybody off, and that is what cost you. You might have got away with it if it was a better price tag, but nope, you didn't, and that's where you failed. And these figures are a very mixed bag of really good, not so good, and shit. And that is the failing that will ever curse Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon line. And no, I don't have Dungeon Master and Venger yet because we have traffic cones. I ain't paying that price for that 2-pack. I'll wait for Ollie's. And if I don't get it, so what? I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay, that'll wrap up Infinite Realms for this day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that other fun YouTube stuff that we always tell you to do because it helps us. We just want you to help us, that's all. And stay frost. Bad tag. I'll get it one.